Man, I hope you're having a great day. Excited to share a little bit what I am learning, what I'm information that I'm consuming, things that I'm processing through. And this is a great way for me to share. But it's also what I find enjoyable is as I communicate this to people, I have to go through it. I have to think about it. Now, I hope it brings value to you. That's why I'm sharing it and excited to be here. Today, I'm going to kick off. I'm going to discuss hype versus habit. So this morning I listened to the latest Maxwell Leadership podcast where John Maxwell and then co-hosts Mark Holt and Tracy Morrow went through the limitation, excuse me, the let me pull it up here. The leader who motivates, right? Not limitations, that's another one. The leader that motivates. And as John described, the difference between a hype leader and a habit leader is a hype leader is looking at the celebration of the finality, right? He used the example when he was young and he was learning to play basketball and he heard the high school players get announced in this spotlight. He's like, I want that. So what did he go home and do? He built a habit of practicing basketball. By the time he was a sophomore in high school, he was a starter. He got announced. Now, the key there is if you're focusing on the hype, in other words, if you're the person that's like, well, I'll be good enough when I have the monetary, when I have the item, and then people look at me. Yeah, I think, like John says here, it's build the habit. Build the habit of practicing what's going to bring on that spotlight, what's going to bring on that. So for him, it was practicing basketball. For you, it may be practicing sales. If you want to win these sales recognition, if you want to be recognized as a leader that helps others grow and develop, then practice the skills to be a better leader. Practice the skills to be better at sales. Go do the sales. The recognition will then come. The spotlight will then come, but only if you practice the habit instead of focusing on the hype. And I think a lot of people in this world, especially through social media, get caught up in the hype, but don't recognize the only way the hype truly comes and sustains is with the habit. The next thing I want to discuss, I meet with a group of guys. We meet on Wednesdays, and we typically go through what's called the Friday Forward. It's by Robert Glazer. You can look it up, Friday Forward, and it's a weekly email he sends out on Friday. Today, they discuss kind of this pendulum that is in our work world today between employees and companies and values and service. In the very end of it, there was this quote, and I'll read off this quote. It's not shared here, but we're taught that there are bad people and good people, monsters and angels. And yet the truth of the matter is that monsters and angels live in every single one of us. Monsters are our broken parts. They are our petty fears, our insecurities, and the grievances that grow. Our monsters and angels in the world are ourselves. They're the broken pieces of ourselves, the monsters. Becoming an angel is accepting those and understanding each one of us have them. You know, there's broken people in this world. There's people that hurt others. We might describe them as monsters. And we may look at someone else and think they're an angel. Well, our angels of the world also have broken pieces. The difference between the monsters and the angels, the monsters are playing that victim. You know, they're the victim and thinking that I want to get back and I want to hurt others because that's going to make me feel better. The angels are, in spite of my hurt, I'm going to use it to bless others. I'm going to use it to be kind to others. I'm going to use it to be better. Choose to be an angel. Anyone can be a monster. We all have it. We all have those fears. We all have those insecurities. The better way is be the angel. Think about that today. The last one I'm going to leave you with my thought of the day here today. I'm going to show this up so you can read it. Be willing to have the conversation. One of the, I guess, teachings that I've come up with, it's called the 4 I's, the barriers of leadership. I'm going to discuss that in a workshop I'm having here in about a month's time. I'm also going to discuss it as a speaking event for I Love Coaching in Charleston, South Carolina in a couple weeks. And of the 4 barriers, one of them is inactivity. The biggest way that inactivity is a barrier for leaders is being unwilling to have the conversation. Now, I thought about this, and this is happening at a place in my life where, someone's being taken out of a role and the leader just told them, you're out, someone else is in, without ever having the conversation. Be like you walk into work today. Let's say you're a regional manager, right? You walk in today and Bob, your boss comes to you and say your name's Mary. Bob comes to you, Mary, and he says, hey, Mary, um, Patrick, he's going to take your position today. Huh? What? What? Like, no heads up? No, like, hey, we're going to do this. I want to cross train him so that way, in case something happens to you, we have more people able to do. No, just walks in and say, hey, Patrick, you're the new team leader today. What? Be willing to have the conversation. Have the conversation before that. Say, hey, Mary, man, you do great work. But I also understand this. We're only as good as what we're able to help others do. So I want you to help Patrick develop. I want you to help him be better at the position just because he's growing into that. Maybe we might need him. So we're going to do this together. So Mary, I'm going to walk into our team meeting and I'm going to say, Patrick is going to act in this role. And I want you to be a part of that. See, that conversation builds trust. That conversation and willing to communicate develops a connection. Be willing to have the conversation. It's easy. It's not that hard. Thanks for being here. Hope you got value.